In this lesson, I want to talk about best practices with passwords. These days, you need passwords for a wide variety of websites and services. Figuring out a password that's both effective and memorable can be difficult. To make it as easy as possible, many people use a password that's as simple as possible, and then they use this password, or one that's very similar, all over the place. This is probably the main cause of passwords being figured out or hacked. So there are a few cardinal rules for creating good passwords. First, what not to use. Words, terms, or phrases that refer to you or your family, such as names, birthdays, and phone numbers, are not good password options. That information is too easy to find. Next, don't use simple single words, like the all-time #1 worst password, which is the word password. Good passwords contain multiple character classes, like letters, both upper and lower case, numbers, and symbols, such as the @ or hashtag. I'm going to jump into the Users and Group System Preference now, and click the Change Password button here. Next, if I click this key icon, we can use the Password Assistant utility to measure the strength of our passwords. So if you like to use the word guitar as a password, you might want to replace the I with a 1, and then maybe the A with an @ symbol. Most passwords need to be at least 8 characters long. So then adding an exclamation point to both the front and back end of the password will strengthen it quite a bit. Using multiple terms in a password can further reduce the possibility of it being figured out. So if I know I like to use guitar, maybe I could combine that with, say, a favorite actor or athlete. I'll use Michael Jordan. But rather than use his full name, I'm just going to tack on MJ23 to my guitar password. Notice that I'm using terms that are not directly linked to me. I'm not a professional musician, and I'm one of millions of Michael Jordan fans. So combining these two terms and utilizing multiple character classes will make for a really strong password. The next issue is trying to create a different or at least slightly different password for each site or service. So if this were going to be my iCloud password, I might always add the letters IC to the beginning or end of the password. Or I could replace the letters MJ with IC. If this is going to be an Amazon password, maybe I'd do the same with the letters ZON. But you don't want to use the same exact password multiple times. For iCloud passwords, Apple is going to force you to change the password every once in a while. This can get frustrating because you can't reuse a password that you've used for iCloud in the past year. So a date-based component can be added to the password. So if you create a new password in February of 2016, use F16 as a differentiator in the new password. You could also develop sort of a rotation of 3 or 4 passwords that you use only for iCloud. Over the course of a year, you might use 2 or 3 of these. But once that year passes, you can then reuse the 3rd or 4th password again and keep that cycle going. In the next lesson, we'll talk about how the Max keychain can help you create, save, and retrieve your passwords.